Good evening, Mistress Lisa.
Good evening, Master Trowbridge. I wasn't quite sure how to say that then. I was going to call you Mr. Claypole then. I was like,
I'm not really Mr. Claypole. I haven't got his psychic powers. No. For today, or tonight, or this evening, we have been watching Rentaghost.
We have.
Haven't we? From 1982. From, I think, what is it? The 12th? Tuesday the 12th of October 1982 at 5 on BBC One. Rentaghost by Bob Block, a series of 13 programmes. Number 2. Rentaghost is nobbled by the nobility to frighten a phantom. The ghost impersonates the host. The horse packs his person in a packing case and joins in a joust. Nadia peeps at the Perkins when they're transported to a teacup and Mr. Perkins' pants fall down. Well, turns out that's a fairly accurate description of the
episode.
Of the episode. Disconcertingly so. But you've got a couple of guest stars here.
Yes.
You've got Robert Swales as Sir Guy Fitzherbert, and you say he turns up.
He'll be in Galloping Galaxies when Bob Block does Galloping Galaxies.
Galloping
Galaxies in a couple of years' time.
And the Earl Perivale is played by John Horsley, no less. Because this is set in a spooky house in Perivale. This is Rentaghost's ghost light, isn't it? As much as it ever gets. The lighting's quite similar.
It can't be set in Perivale. They can't have taken 9 hours to get there.
To get to Perivale, I don't know.
It must be in the country somewhere where he's just the Earl of Perivale.
Well, I don't know.
It obviously just sounded good, Perivale.
Yeah. But anyway. So, do you want to explain Rentaghost very briefly? Hold your book up. Hold your book up. You've got a book.
This is one of the books. We have some more on the way.
You've realised that there are a load of Rentaghost books we don't have, but who's that on the front?
That's Mr. Claypole. And then you've got Mr. and Mrs. Meeker.
Yeah.
And Miss Popoff and McWitch.
Yeah, so this is about the right era, actually.
Yes, it is the right era, yeah. Rentaghost is a children's television series that starts in 1978, and it's about ghosts.
76.
76, sorry.
Yeah.
76, earlier than I thought.
Yeah.
Yes. And
I know that we did it in a very early episode because Paddington and Rentaghost started in 76.
Yes. And initially, the three ghosts are Fred Mumford.
Yeah.
Mr. Davenport, who's a Victorian ghost.
And looks a bit like John Pertwee.
And looks a bit like John Pertwee. I don't know if he really is a Victorian. I suppose he is a Victorian ghost. It's just that when his mother visits, I'm not even going to get into that.
No, he's a Victorian ghost because he's scandalised at like newspapers and showing ladies.
His mother's outfit is, I suppose it could be early Victoria. Anyway, and Mr. Claypole, who is a sprite. And he was a jester at the court of Queen Matilda.
Oh, right, yes.
And you do get Queen Matilda.
I was going to say, Queen Matilda does appear briefly, and she does get a vague reference in this one as well, doesn't she? Because the Meekers were knighted. Well, Mr. Meeker was knighted by 12th century.
Well, they said 12th century, 11 something. Queen Matilda was the daughter of which one was it? William II.
Right. Shall I check that?
Yes. And because she was a girl, she couldn't be queen, so the throne went to her cousin Stephen, and there was lots of civil war fighting.
Stephen and Matilda.
Right. Or Maud, as she is sometimes called.
Right.
But I think it's Henry II, because William II.
Matilda, 1102 to 1167.
Oh, Henry I, sorry.
Right, okay.
Henry I of England.
Yeah. Empress Matilda, yes. Yeah. So 1102 to 1167, there she is. Claimant to the English throne during the Civil War, known as the Anarchy. Yes. So Father Henry I of England, Mother Matilda of Scotland.
Yes.
Is that
right? And her son will go on to be Henry III, who was the one that had Thomas Becket.
Henry II.
Henry II even.
Yeah.
I'm getting all my second and third mixed up, sorry. Henry II, who will go on to have Thomas Becket killed.
Right. Sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Eleanor Aquitaine.
Right, okay.
So, basically he's Richard...
this has nothing to do with this
episode.
episode.
He's Richard the first father, yes, but we'll have to get my history right.
Okay.
And I didn't get it right, so sorry. Anyway, yes. Anyway,
that's why I got
back to the story.
That's why I wanted the computer open, you see, because I knew it was going to get complicated.
Back to the story.
But, so, at this point you've got Mr. Claypole.
Mr. Claypole, McWitch,
And Nadia Popov.
Nadia Popov, who is a cousin of Tamara
Novak.
who was played by Linda LaPlante.
But then
When
who
she was an
didn't turn up
actress.
for the next season.
No, she I don't
And
know.
I think basically they just crossed her name out in the script.
And right, Nadia Popov.
Instead.
Yes.
Because are they both allergic to flowers?
Yes.
All right, okay.
Yes.
Because there's this thing, if you show Miss Popov flowers, she pops
She
off.
sneezes, yes.
Quite literally.
And she's played by Sue Nichols.
Yes.
From Coronation Street and Pipkins.
Yeah. And McWitch is Molly Weir.
Molly Weir, and Mr. Claypole is Michael Staniforth.
Yes. But we open with them at the Meeker's house,
Yes.
isn't it? And they're all bored because there's
Yes.
nothing to do.
There's no work.
So McWitch and Mr. Claypole are playing cards.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Claypole's got a great big long. He's got like a selfie stick, hasn't
Yeah,
he? It's a great big
It's a mirror on a stick.
mirror on a great
I
big
don't know
long
how
stick.
the witch can't see it.
holding it over and looking at her
looking at her
cards.
cards.
Miss
cheating.
Popov is doing some knitting with knots, isn't
Knitting
she?
with knots. Yes. Because she's I think she's meant to be Dutch or something. So you get the usual thing that
Bob Block sort of.
people do, that foreigners get their words wrong, which he does in Robots Robots and lots of
all
other
of that.
stuff, I expect. Yeah.
But as we always say, Bob Block's sort of style is very similar in all his series.
In most of his series, things pop up.
But they're
on the
far
series.
enough apart that you can get away
You
with
can get
it.
away with it.
Yeah.
And different channels as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, then they do get a job.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Earl Perivale is being haunted by a phantom, and he wants them to scare it away.
yes. Now the next door neighbours
The Perkins.
are the Perkins.
Long-suffering Perkins.
Yeah.
That's the thing that people most remember about Rentaghost.
Yeah.
The Perkins, the pendant.
Because they've got an amulet that
They've got an amulet
grants
their
wishes.
But it's one of these things that Mr. Claypool never gets these things right.
Yeah.
Because it's whatever they say. If they say "I want,"
Yeah, and it will happen literally.
it will happen literally.
Yeah.
So she says to him, "I want you to drop everything if the doorbell rings."
Yeah,
Which
so-
means that every time the doorbell is rung, he drops whatever he's carrying, and it's usually breakable.
And his trousers.
And his trousers.
That's something for the
Well, his
mums
pants,
there, isn't
yeah.
it, Lisa?
Yeah. He's got sock suspenders on.
Thankfully, he doesn't drop his pants
No.
as well.
No.
But yes. So they're going to go off to the
To the
thing.
stately home.
Now,
They can't take Miss Popoff because they said that every time she sees flowers, she'll sneeze.
yeah.
So they leave her to look after the Perkins.
They don't want to take the horse.
The horse. Oh, we haven't mentioned the horse.
We better say
There's a
about the horse.
pantomime horse called Dobbin that
Yeah.
Mr. Claypole brings alive in an earlier series.
That's a Christmas special, isn't
Yes.
it? Yeah.
And it lives there now.
It's very hard to get hold of the Christmas special, though.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of
Yes.
those ones that you can't
Can't
get hold of
yeah.
easily
And the horse is played by the two chaps that play the Merker.
in Doctor
in
Who Warriors of the
Warriors
Deep.
of the Deep,
Yeah.
yes.
And would you say the Merker doesn't really come off, but the pantomime horse,
The
you were
pantomime horse is
impressed
fab.
with how much acting they were
Yeah,
doing.
they were doing. Whoever is it at the front, I don't know who it was,
Yeah.
does a lot of acting because there's a bit towards the end of the episode where it walks through the door. And
He's
it's
happy.
doing this sort of jaunty role, and it's incredibly silly but really funny. 'Cause I
And it's good at being angry because
Yes.
it stamps its feet.
I think they do the dragon in later series as well,
Oh,
Bernie
right.
St. John.
I was going to say, are they not in the same shot in something? Or would they
Well,
get-
maybe it's somebody else.
I don't know.
But,
And then you've got Jeremy the maintenance
Jeremy the maintenance
robot.
robot. Oh, I love Jeremy the maintenance robot. He's a rubbish. Actually, he's better now than he was.
Yeah.
Because he's introduced in an early series, and he's supposed to mend things, and when he mends them, he puts a little sign on that says "This is mended,"
Yeah.
and
And
they're
then the
not.
thing usually
It
explodes.
explodes, yeah. So he's got a lot better.
He's been upgraded for this,
Yeah,
though.
he's got a little satellite dish.
He's got a satellite dish,
Yeah, and it's going-
which is like radar for like psychic
Yes.
things,
Yeah.
and he's got a psychic missile,
Yeah.
which actually turns out not to be a missile when it sort of fight. You don't really see a missile.
No,
but,
it's just like an energy bulb.
but they
isn't
test it out on the McWitch,
Yes.
don't they? She's flying overhead
Yes.
on a CSO broomstick with a very bright blue sky with
Yeah.
clouds,
Very practical stuff.
and there's a sort of puff of smoke, and then she sort of descends through the ceiling, doesn't she?
And considering she's in her 70s at this point,
Yeah.
where you have to give
She
her
throws
points
herself
for-
about,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
I think a little bit of that is stunt work.
Well, yeah.
Somebody's stunty, but yeah, she's certainly having a go. But the horse smuggles itself into a packing case.
Into a packing
somehow.
case, and it says "handle with care," spelled with a K.
K-A-R-E, and handle spelt like the composer.
Yes. But then they discover it's Dobbin and they should take him anyway
Yeah.
because he's just going to cause problems otherwise.
Yeah, so they go and tell next door that they're going away.
And they're delighted.
They're quite pleased.
Because they're going to get a quiet weekend.
Yeah. But yeah, they go off and they encounter. Now, who do they encounter first? Is it the spook itself?
Well, it takes them ages to get there. They get lost. And they get there after dark, and the door's locked, but Mr. Meeker gets the ghost to get them in because they've got psychic power and they hold their noses to transport places. And he gets them inside. And the Earl comes down the stairs, but they don't see him, so they go off to look for...
But he sees the pantomime horse, doesn't he?
He does see the pantomime horse.
And he doesn't seem that worried about the fact that
he's a bit surprised.
Pantomime horse wandering about.
Well, when you've got a phantom wandering around your house, a pantomime horse, nothing, is it?
Yeah,
really?
right, okay. I'd be surprised if I come downstairs and there was a pantomime horse there.
And then the spook appears. So Guy Fitzherbert, was it?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Let's see what it says.
And that would indicate he's illegitimate.
So Guy Fitzherbert, illegitimate son of somebody called Herbert.
Yeah.
Is Herbert a very old name?
Could be. There were Herberts.
Okay.
Yeah. And he pretends to be the Earl.
Yeah. Not very well,
Not
as
very
to be
well.
said.
Because I don't know if it's the quality of the episode or whether he's actually made up to look a little bit.
No, he does look a bit spooky.
Yeah.
We should point out we were not watching a high quality copy.
Somebody's copy of it when it was shown in the 90s.
What looks like the 8:15 from Manchester.
Yeah.
Because the end credits go to black,
Yes.
don't they? You get the theme tune, but you don't actually get to read the end credits.
So he pretends to be the Earl, and then when the real Earl is coming in, he tells them that's the ghost. And anyway, but they've also got caught in there's like revolving walls, and they've got caught in the wall. They spend about 2 minutes walking around this revolving wall, which I'm not quite sure if it really works like that. But
I mean, it did remind me. There's an episode of Here Come the Double Deckers as well, where there's like. They've been chased by suits of armour and things like that, and there's revolving walls and things like that as well. So it's quite a common thing in sort of kids shows. But they dress up in armour, don't they?
Yeah, well, they dress up in armour because they've had a fight, but because he's got armour, he can withstand them shooting stuff at him. But they come in and they've got like a colander and
like
saucepans and stuff. Yeah.
They sort of bodged it together from bits of metalwork they could find in the kitchen. Basically.
And Mr. Claypole challenges him to a joust.
Yeah. And he's going to sit on the back
and
of the horse.
Sit on the back of Dobbin.
Who can't support his weight.
Dobbin's not having this at all.
Who collapses, basically.
So, the ghost, Herbert, appears and he says he's won by default.
Yeah.
And he steals Which's broomstick, doesn't he?
Right, yeah.
And she says, well, if they can get him to landing
outside
the house, he can't come back in.
By the rules of haunting, which is the first I've heard of this.
So she calls her broom back.
Yeah.
And the broom zooms from underneath him and he falls into the fish pond outside.
I was going to say, meanwhile,
yes.
the Perkins have ended up in a cup of tea, haven't they?
Yes, or in a cup.
In a cup,
cup. Yeah, because literally, again... One of them says, "I'd like to join me in a cup of tea."
Because you had the thing earlier about not coming between us, haven't you?
Yes. Which means every time Mrs. Meeker or Mr. Meeker try and walk anywhere between them, they come together. So the pendant is very, very literal. Yeah. So.
But then they end. It was, I'd like to join you in a cup of tea.
Yes, and they end up in the cup, and he ends up with milk in his shoe.
They're sort of looking over the. Yeah. I don't know how that works because they go in the tea,
in the cup,
and then when he's full size again, he pours out a load of milk. So it's as though the milk has expanded with him as well.
Maybe.
So that would be a good way of making an infinite amount of milk. Just put your miniaturise your shoe, scoop out a tiny bit of milk. Get it up to full size, and then you've got a pint of milk in your shoe. So this is like
a manky pint of milk.
This is like Axonite with the frog. Making the frog bigger. This makes milk bigger somehow. This spell, I don't know.
And they discover they think.
Well, should we say about Tiny Timothy as well?
Oh, and Tiny Timothy, Mr. Claypole gives Miss Popoff Tiny Timothy.
It sounds rude, doesn't it? Yes. She gets to hold it. Because she's quite keen on him, isn't she?
She keeps talking to him and having to talk about time. It's a wand with Mr. Claypole's face on it. It's just
What's she going to do with it?
I don't think we should even go there. Yeah, so she's talking to it, and then she does a little voice like it's talking back to her. This is for kids as well.
I hadn't really realised how rude that could be interpreted. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So the Perkins discover after they get out of the cup of tea and he's dropped the stuff on the floor and they have another
dropped his trousers
again. That they actually need the Perkins to distract them from the Meekers to distract them from each other.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're really glad to see
and
them.
They come back, and they all get welcomed in their suits of armour, don't they?
Yes.
And the horse is happy.
And that's what the horse walked away walks at the door.
But that was really silly. Wasn't
it was very silly. I love Bob Block stuff because there's nothing there that you need to worry about apart from slightly dodgy named things, because it's just fun. It's fun and it's silly, and you can just enjoy yourself for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And I said to you, I was looking up Rentaghost earlier, and I came across a website of somebody putting all series of Rentaghost in order from worst to best. Yeah. And this person doesn't like the 80s stuff.
No.
To which I would say, you were probably too old to watch it at the time. And, just enjoy it.
Well, that's the thing, I never saw a lot of the late stuff.
I know you never saw it, but you've seen it since.
Yeah, and I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. I know you really like the early stuff.
Yeah. But again, that's my memory of it.
This is the stuff I remember, and I remember McWitch.
But this is an episode I've never seen before, and I enjoyed it, so yeah.
And, I mean, you get, when you've got the likes of Kenneth Connor, of what's his name, Smith.
Yeah.
And,
I was impressed you got John Horsley this week. So,
and the dragon, there's a dragon in the last series or the last two series, and they use it to keep the boiler going. And there's this recurring thing in the last series of don't go into the cellar, and anybody that goes into the cellar comes out covered in soot.
Smoking in
So it's just incredibly silly, and it's fun, and it reminds me of being sort of 11 or 12, or whatever it was.
Fair enough. But you have sent for a few more Rentaghost
I have got
books,
some more Rentaghost. So we've got this one. I thought this was the only one. But there's Rentaghost Unlimited.
Yeah.
Which I
found a little trailer for, because it says on here, book, Rentaghost Unlimited, £5.95 hardback, 95p paperback from booksellers. Yeah. Well, you wouldn't go down the greengrocers for it, would you?
We're going to buy the paperback, aren't you, for 95p? That's like a lot cheaper. It's really a lot cheaper. Yeah. But yeah, there's Rentaghost Unlimited, Rentaghost Enterprises, Rentaghost Returns, and Rentaghost.
All right, so lots to find. So but you've tracked them all down, haven't you? So
I say track them all down. I looked on the internet and looked on. There's a book searching site called A Books that you just type the title of a book into, and
some people are charging ridiculous amounts of money for them.
Some people are charging £30 or more for the Rentaghost for the hardback, which has a lovely cover. But I've ordered the softback, which is available
got the whole
cheaper,
lot
for about £10.
So there you go.
With postage as well, so.
Okay, well I enjoyed that.
But when they come, perhaps we'll do you a video about the books.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.